Hello, everyone. I'm AT Storm Track meteorologist Austin Haskins. It was yet another warm and kind of a humid day across the region on our Wednesday, though dew points were a little bit lower than they were on Tuesday. We had high temperatures generally in the mid-80s yesterday. A few of us like in Cumberland and Marshfield and Red Wing only getting to the low 80s. But these values, again, are about 10 to 15 degrees above average. We got to 85 officially in Eau Claire for the second straight day. We do have some changes, though, in the forecast along the way. So we had an area of low pressure near Sioux Falls yesterday that brought those isolated pop-up showers and storms during the morning and afternoon hours, mainly across the far northern parts of our area. That low weakened, and the one that was down in Kansas is now up near the Sioux Falls area this morning, and that's why you can kind of see the pinwheeling motion here on the satellite and radar. We also have a cold front that has essentially kind of stalled out near our area. And that'll be the focal point here for our shower and storm chances here the next couple of days, along with high pressure sitting to our north. But also, the low is actually cut off from the main flow of the jet stream, and that is actually going far to the north here today. And with that low over in parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, with a cutoff low, that means that it's not going to move much the next couple of days. In fact, you can see here as we progress through this, the low just kind of drifts to the north as we get into Friday and Saturday. Now, by Saturday, the jet stream does dip back down enough, and the low should kind of come back in contact with the main flow of the jet stream. So eventually, this will move out of here as we get into the second half of the weekend, but we still have shower and storm chances even in the forecast for Sunday as well. But that is what's going to be kind of the focal point for our rain and storm chances here the next couple of days and nights. So today's chances mostly on the isolated side, and especially in the afternoon hours with the peak heating of the day. But as we get into tonight, the coverage is going to pick up, as you see here, goes up to about 55% during the evening and overnight hours, as you'll see. Potentially looking at multiple waves of showers and storms passing through the area. It'll mostly be rain, but there may be some embedded thunderstorms mixed in there. Now, we may get a little bit of a break during the morning hours on Friday, as in mid to late morning, early afternoon. But then Friday afternoon, as we get towards mid to late afternoon and into Friday night, that's when the rain coverage is actually going to peak at about 70% across the area. And then it'll maintain at about a 50 to 60% clip even into Saturday as well. So the rain chances, yes, they're going to be a little bit on the higher side, but it will be scattered in nature and there will be breaks. So if you do have outdoor plans this weekend or attending any sporting events the next couple of evenings, just be sure to be monitoring the weather conditions closely and have a backup plan in place, especially if we do have thunderstorms with lightning and thunder. And you know the saying we talk about, when thunder roars, go indoors. Just have a way to monitor the conditions closely, and if you need to take shelter from the lightning, you'll be able to do so. And those rain coverage, again, as I mentioned, peaks Friday night into Saturday in that likely territory, though depending on how things pan out, we may have to bring up tonight and tomorrow as well. But then it does kind of come down a little bit as we head into next week, though models are kind of struggling a little bit on exactly how next week's forecast pans out. The GFS American model is wanting to show one, possibly two other systems to bring more rain to the area, or at least keep rain chances around through about midweek or so, while the European is going completely dry pretty much after about Tuesday. So something to kind of watch here as we get closer into next week. Now, how much rain are we looking at? This is through Monday, so this includes today through the weekend into Monday of next week. Lower end totals of around 1/10 of an inch, most likely looking at anywhere from about 2/10 of an inch to an inch, with higher end totals potentially up to 2 inches or more. And the one thing to note here too is anything that does develop is not going to be moving particularly fast like we normally see. And if that is the case and we get some heavier downpours, that could lead to some higher totals in localized areas. So something to kind of keep in mind. And it's also worth noting, though, too, that we do have at least some differences in the models here. So we'll take a look at a couple of locations. So here's Eau Claire, and you can see again, generally looking at that 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch range. Now, the HRRR model only goes out about 39, 40 hours, so this only goes out till about tomorrow evening. And then the graph model is currently missing data as of Thursday morning. Now, Rice Lake, again, similar story. In fact, you take out the HRRR and the graph model, and the other 4 are going over 1 inch of rain there. And in New Richmond, it's about the same thing, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain. So again, it will vary on where the coverage of rain is highest and where we see the rain and embedded storms track, and of course, if we have those heavier downpours as well. It's also worth mentioning, though, too, the Weather Prediction Center does have a level 1 out of 4 risk for today and tomorrow for excessive rainfall. Now, I don't think flooding is going to be a major concern by any stretch of the imagination, but again, if we get those heavier downpours and these slow-moving areas of rain and storms, that could lead to some very localized areas of, at the minimum, probably some ponding of water on roads, but there could be some very lower-lying areas of minor flooding that could occur, but I really don't think it's going to be a major concern by any means. So just something to consider. If you see any water over the roadways, it's best to probably not drive through that. Just find an alternative route. Also, be sure that the leaves around the storm drains or any debris or even in your gutters, make sure those are cleaned out so you don't have any excess water pooling up in your yard or on the streets. Just something to kind of consider there. Also, again, the dew points are going to still be a little bit on the higher side through at least part of the weekend, but then into next week, it does at least come down back into the mid to upper 50s, so at least get a little bit of a break there. High temperatures today, mid to upper 70s to lower 80s. Again, may vary a few degrees depending on the cloud coverage and, of course, the shower and storm chances. For tonight, we're back into the mid 50s to lower 60s, and then we're only going to muster up about low to mid 70s tomorrow thanks to the cloud cover and the shower and storm chances, but we could also very well see highs maybe not even get to 70 in some locations. And then on Saturday, we're looking at upper 60s and low to mid 70s for highs, and we'll stay low to mid 70s on Sunday with temperatures coming up slightly on Monday up to about 77 for the first day of fall, which the fall equinox is at 1:19 p.m. on Monday, and then mostly low to mid 70s after that, which will still be about 5 degrees above average.